If you want to hit better wedges from 50 to 120 yards, this video could potentially save you several shots every round. Because here's the truth. Most golfers think that wedge play is about touch only. Well, touch is certainly part of it, but that's not the only part. It's about having structure too. And if you don't have structure, you end up doing what most golfers do. Changing your swing, guessing your yardages, decelerating into the ball, and hitting those awful chunked fat wedges. So by the end of this video, I'm going to show you a simple system that you can use to make your wedge play dramatically easier. So let's get into it. I've played golf for over 30 years now, and one thing I've learned is this. Great wedge players are rarely guessing. They're using very repeatable fundamentals. So if you want consistency, and we all do, your setup matters tremendously. It matters so much that I've actually put together a free golf swing setup checklist in the description box below. It goes through the exact fundamentals that I use. Be sure to grab that before you leave. Now, your setup is so important because if your setup is off, even slightly, everything just becomes harder. So let's back up a second and start with the first big mistake that many golfers are making. And that mistake is treating every wedge shot the same. A lot of golfers take the exact same swing, whether it's 50 yards, 75 yards, or 115 yards. In my opinion, that's a huge mistake. So different yardages require different feels. Here's the framework in general. From 50 to 70 yards, it's more of a finesse, a shorter, controlled motion. Now from 70 to 100 yards, it's more of a controlled swing. And 100 to 120 yards, it's definitely more of a fuller, but yet still controlled swing. And the issue is that golfers get in between yardages and they start to panic. Instead of making a confident swing, they try to manufacture something. And that's really when contact starts to get ugly. So a much better approach that you might want to consider is building stock wedge distances. Let me explain. So you want to know your half swing distances, your 3/4 swing distances, and your full swing distances. What this does is it removes the guesswork, and more importantly, it gives you confidence. But here's the thing, even if you know your distances, if you have a bad setup, it could completely ruin your contact. So let's talk about that next. For most wedges, ball position is generally center to slightly back of center. Your weight is slightly favoring your lead side, maybe about 55 to 60%, and your hands are just going to be slightly ahead of the ball. And in general, you're just going to have a little bit more of a narrow stance compared to a full shot. These setup fundamentals promote a cleaner compression. But more often than not, golfers set up like they're hitting driver with wedges. It's too wide, it's too far back, and they're trying to help the ball in the air. What this does is it creates fat shots, thin shots, and inconsistent contact. Really what you want to do is focus on letting the club do the work. You don't want to try and focus on scooping it or lifting it. Now, let's talk about why you should stop guessing your yardages. This is a huge one. Many golfers out there are just guessing their yardages. And wedge inconsistency often isn't mechanics. Many times it can just be bad information too. For example, if you think you have 82 yards to the pin, but it's actually 102 yards, good luck, right? So lately I've actually been using VistaJet Golvia Ultra Stabilized Rangefinder. And honestly, it's incredibly useful for wedge play because wedge shots are all about precision. And what I like about this rangefinder is it gives you exact yardages. It has slope compensation, which matters if you're hitting uphill or downhill. And one feature that I think is pretty cool is that it has stabilized optics. So locking onto the flag is much easier, especially if your hands aren't perfectly steady like mine. So if you want to check it out, I'll drop a link in the description box below. Now let's talk about tempo, because tempo is everything. Wedge shots are not power shots. And this is where most golfers get into a lot of trouble. They get nervous, they take the club back too fast or too slow, and then they decelerate. Instead, really focus on thinking smooth back and smooth through, but with an accelerated motion through. That saves rhythm every single time. One feel that I love is imagine that you're tossing a ball underhand to a target. That same tempo, that same athletic motion, it's a nice, smooth, accelerated motion through the ball and the impact zone. So now I want to leave you with one more tip, and that's contact control. When it comes to contact control, the goal with wedges is always ball first and then the turf, right? You're not chunking it first and you're not trying to lift it first. So here's a simple thought. Keep your wrists pretty dead and rotate your chest through the ball. That helps prevent flipping. When golfers stop rotating, their hands start to take over, and we want to avoid that. So keep turning. And as a quick reminder, if you haven't already, be sure to grab my free golf swing setup checklist in the description box below. It'll help you immensely with your setup. So let's bring this all together. If you want to hit better wedges from 50 to 120 yards, stop making it really complicated. And remember, build stock wedge distances, get your setup right, stop guessing yardages, and rotate through impact. So focus on those key fundamentals and your wedge game will dramatically improve. So instead of standing over the ball unsure, you'll have a repeatable process that you can follow, which will allow you to play with more confidence, and that's what we all want. So if this video has helped you, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button so that you don't miss out on any content that I release to help you play better golf. So now that you know these wedge techniques, the next video that you're going to want to watch is right here, because when you pair what you just learned with this next video, it's a lot more powerful. Appreciate your time. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.